Hey, what's going on, world? This is the Eugene Hamilton Podcast, your new source for inspiration, motivation, hope, and encouragement. I promise you, you're in for a ride as each week we will dive deep into inspiring stories, transformative strategies, and actionable motivation that will take you to new and exciting levels. So let's get ready to laugh, reflect, think, and transform your life. This is Eugene Hamilton. Let's grow. Hey, what's going on, Grow Squad? Welcome to episode 5 of the Eugene Hamilton Podcast. Hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hey, I've got a couple of housekeeping items really quick. Analytics are showing me that 90%, almost 88 to 90% of you all that are tuning in are not subscribed yet. So let me invite you to join the Grow Squad. Some of the Grow Squad where we are intentional about going boldly, growing broadly, and glowing brightly every single day that we exist and that we live. So let me invite you. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that bell button so it notifies you when a new episode is up. And I promise you, you will not be disappointed as we move forward together as a squad, as a family, and as one unit. Also, the book of the month for the Grow Squad is right here to my left. Atomic Habits. Some of you have already seen the book. In fact, stay on to the end. I'm going to show you how. In fact, this week, I'm giving away 2 books. That's right. Not one, but 2 books, Atomic Habits, for a member of the Grow Squad to help you come along and join us for our book of the month. As we move forward, this book is a book filled with secrets that will help you unlock who you really are. This book is filled with nuggets that will help you reach your full potential. And I want to invite you to join us, to be a part of the family as we move forward together so that we can go, grow, and glow every single day. Now let's get into today's episode. Let's go ahead and have a word of prayer as we move forward together. God, we thank you for a new day. Thank you for life. We express gratitude for the strength that you've given to us. We express gratitude for everything that you've done for us. I'm praying for my friend right now who may be going through a difficult time. Give them peace. Help them to understand and know that you are with them every step of the way. Bless my friend right now who is not having a difficult time, but still needs your help, still needs your guidance, still needs your protection every single day. I pray that you would help us all as we move forward and be intentional about going, growing, and glowing every single day. In your name, amen. Amen. Again, don't forget, get Atomic Habits. In fact, I'm going to put a link in the show notes real quick. I'm going to put a link in the show notes so that you can just click that quick link, get access to Atomic Habits, and join us as we move forward together. Today, I want to talk a little bit about how to get the most out of your life. Yeah, tune in. Come a little bit closer. In fact, share this out to Peanut, whomever it is, your nephew, your son, because we all need to know how to get the most out of the life that we've been given. Now, for the longest, in my life, I had no clue why I was here. Yeah. In fact, I told you in episode number 1, I found myself at one point in my life homeless. Yeah. At one point in my life, as I didn't understand, and I'm just kind of retracking, going back a little bit so you can understand in context where we are today. At one point in my life, at 19 years of age, I was sleeping in my car. And I told you on episode 1 that car was not a big Suburban. It wasn't a big Navigator. It wasn't a big van. It was a hatchback 1984 Nissan Sentra, and I was sleeping in it. Now, the reason why I was sleeping in that car was not because I didn't have access to go home to my parents. It was not because I didn't have access to maybe go to a friend's house. I slept on that couch because I lost sense of purpose. I'm sorry. I slept in that car because I lost sense of purpose. In fact, in life, some of you are there right now. We find out sometimes later on in life what our purpose is, but as we're moving toward that purpose, it is important that we be intentional about taking steps that pull us closer, even if you don't know what it is just yet. I'm going to get to it in a minute. I'm going to give you 3 essential steps real quickly on how to discover your purpose and your passion and move forward. But before we get there, I was sleeping in a car, taking a shower in my friend's dormitory room. In fact, my cousin, for a little while, I took a shower and slept on his dormitory room floor. But here I was, 19 years old, sleeping in my car, eating in the cafeteria on a college campus that I had no business being on, sneaking into the cafeteria, getting some food because I had no purpose. Essentially, if you were to put it in just everyday terms, your boy was lost. Didn't know where to go, didn't know where to turn, didn't know who to turn to for help. And one day I finally came to my senses and I said to myself, listen, Eugene, you've got yourself in this mess. Don't you miss this part. Because sometimes you and I find ourselves blaming other people. We find ourselves pointing the finger at people, and you've got, is there 3 or 4? You got some fingers pointing back at you. Sometimes you got to ask yourself, man, is it me? Was it my fault? Did I do this? Because we are masters at blaming other people. But I want you to take note today that the reason why I was in the position I was in was because I thought that I was smarter than I really was. I thought I had all the answers. I thought I knew. I'm 19 years of age. Come on now. At 19, you think you're grown. I had worked really hard, saved up a couple $100 and bought this Nissan Sentra, and I drove it 300 miles to another state, and I thought I had it all together. So one night I'm sleeping in the back of that car, cold as all get out. And I said to myself, Eugene, the reason why you're homeless is because you're running from purpose. And in running from purpose, you're running from responsibility. In fact, I did some research I want to share with you real quickly. A survey was done by What Career Live, or What Career Live, and they found that 84% of young people, don't miss this, ages 16 to 24 are not pursuing their purpose, nor are they pursuing their passions. Did you hear what I just said? 84%. And if you recall just a minute ago, I told you I was 19 living in the back of that car, not pursuing my purpose, not pursuing my passion, and not living out my calling. And it's a staggering stat that this survey was done and the outcome or the end result was simply 84%. That's just 16% shy of 100% of young people aren't living out their purpose, aren't pursuing their purpose, and aren't pursuing their passion. Now, there's a super gap because Psychology Today also notes that about 30% to 40% of all people feel a clear sense of purpose in their lives, indicating that many may not be pursuing their real, true passions. So here it is. Ask yourself right now, are you living in your purpose? Are you pursuing your passion, or are you simply stuck? Now, I'm not here to simply let you know that to simply try to get you to feel like you're a bad person because you're stuck. Everybody in life gets stuck. The challenge that I have and the challenge I want to give to you is, are you comfortable being stuck? Because prior to this episode, I talked a little bit about on another show, I talked a little bit about the fact that, hey, some people like being stuck because they get attention. They get all this free stuff. They don't have any responsibility. I, just like I'm describing, was not pursuing purpose nor my passion because I didn't want the responsibility of living up to that purpose. And one of the ways, I'm going to give you 3 quick ways that you can discover your purpose and your passion and start marching toward your dream life is simply this. We've got to be comfortable doing self-reflection and self-assessment. Number 1, the first step, the first way that you are able to begin moving forward towards your passion and towards your purpose, or discovering your passion, which many times leads you to your purpose, is doing some self-reflection and some self-assessment. In fact, I want to invite you, there's an assessment. Of course, there's Strengths Finders, there's Myers-Briggs, but the one that I'm able to give you access to free of charge, a personality assessment that will kind of help you discover your path, discover your personality type, discover character traits, discover your strengths in life. It's called the DISC assessment, or as Dr. Eric Thomas, E.T. the hip hop preacher, calls it, the flight assessment. That's what I'm connected with. I'll put in the show notes as well a link to get you hooked up with your assessment, because it's critical, it's important, it's crucial. If you're going to do exactly what you've been called to do, you've got to discover your passion, discover your purpose, and the first way you do that is by assessing yourself, reflecting on your life, reflecting on where you are. Most importantly, reflecting on how you got there. You've got to spend some time. In fact, I used to hate, and that's a strong word, but I'm going to use it in this moment because it's appropriate. I used to hate journaling. I used to hate writing out my thoughts. I don't want to go back and read that stuff. What are you talking about? Write it out. But one of my mentors suggested and shared with me a powerful gem and note. He said, wow, if you don't write it down, it actually doesn't exist. Whether it be your goals, whether it be your passion, your purpose, if you don't write it down, it really doesn't exist because you're going to forget about it. So I want to invite you as you try to discover and rediscover, because some of you at one point in your life, you had discovered your purpose. You were walking in your purpose and you got off track. And one of the things I can't forget, I forgot where I got the quote from, but I use it all the time like it's mine. And when I remember, of course, I go back and give credit where credit is due. But one author suggested simply this, that you and I, as we discover our purpose, as we walk in our purpose, as we live out our purpose, we find ourselves spinning our wheels until we do something that actually make us cry if we're not engaged in it. In fact, you've got to be so passionate about your purpose, your passion, and your calling that if in fact there's a moment where you can't do that, it brings you to tears. Not so much because of the money you're making, not so much because of the position or the title that you hold, but because of the impact you're having on the lives that you've been called, that you were born to impact. So you think about this idea of self-reflection, self-assessment. Let me caution you before you get there. It hurts. Oh, man. Self-assessing, being, what they say, keeping it 100, keeping it real with yourself. When you got to look in the mirror and really tell yourself, man, I'm dirty. I'm lost. In my situation, I'm homeless. I need help. Sometimes that revelation brings you to your knees. Sometimes it brings tears to your eyes to admit that, man, I've fallen so far off track that I'm here. I've gotten so far off the highway that was leading me down, leading me towards my purpose and my dream. I've gotten so far off that track that I'm here. Now, when you get there and you have that moment of truth, that moment of self-reflection, that moment of self-assessment, I don't want you to wallow in your tears too long. Now, I can't control that. And sometimes you can't control that. In fact, my wife was sharing with me the other day about how she went to do acupuncture, right? And she one of the needles went into her hand because she mentioned something about her jaw to the actual individual who was performing the acupuncture routine, and she just began to cry. Nothing was on her mind. Nothing was bothering her in that moment, but it triggered something. Now, did she stay there? No. But she had to admit that there's something I need to address. There's something going on inside of me that made me do that. So I'm not going to ignore it lest it gets worse. I'm not going to ignore it, right? or else something's going to happen that I cannot control. So while you have control, while it comes to you, I want to encourage you to self-reflect, self-assess through journaling. And also, I want to give you access to the flight assessment that will help you unpack character traits, will help you unpack the real you. Because oftentimes we think that we are one way, we think that we are being received one way, and we're really not. The second way that you can move on your path toward purpose and discover your passion and move forward and get some things clear about your life is to explore and to experiment with regard to volunteering, maybe taking a look at a course here or there to help you move forward. Because sometimes we don't find our purpose because we aren't exposed to the options that are before us. We aren't exposed to tools that will help us. Let me say it better. We aren't exposed to tools that will help us unlock our purpose. We aren't exposed. So sometimes we got to explore and experiment on our own to expose ourselves to, for instance, growing up in my house as a little kid, growing up in my home, one of the key things that took place in my mother's house and my father's house was simply they taught us how to work hard, right? They taught us how to work hard. In fact, they taught us how to work so hard that they said, hey, we even want you to have to work as hard as us. So we want to expose you to, although we weren't exposed to it growing up. Hear me out now, because sometimes people will find themselves in a position where they have young people under their care, and they're like, well, I had to get it out. You're a grown adult saying, I had to get it out the mud. I had to work hard for that. So they ought to work hard as well. No, if you're in position, and I don't want to sit here and talk about LeBron and Bronny James. That's a whole nother ball game, right? But if you're in position to help somebody have not just an easier path, but a better path than you had, why don't you help them out? So my parents were like, listen, we didn't have exposure to different options with regard to higher education. We didn't have exposure to certain things because of whatever circumstances. But we want to expose you. In fact, my parents were so dope, man. They were like, listen, even if we don't have the answers, we're going to connect you with other people that could help you get some information that we don't even have. You follow what I'm saying? So sometimes you got to explore and connect with the right people that will expose you to options, will expose you to things that may click with you, and you discover your purpose, you discover your passion, and it helps you walk in your calling. And one of the things I often struggle with, I am probably the most outgoing introvert you'll ever meet. Let me say it again. I'm the most outgoing introvert that you'll ever meet. I mean, when I get a microphone, because I know that I was born to communicate. I know that I've been given the gift of speaking. I know that I've been given the gift of helping to impact lives through the words that I use. In fact, I want to remind you of this. I was going to wait till the end to tell you this, but in 2 weeks, in fact, in 10 days, I'll be kicking off my Uplift speaking tour where I'll be going across the country to schools, to school districts, to companies, and to organizations to help them, to motivate them, to get kids excited about school, to get teachers excited about coming back to the classroom. Man, I'm talking about everything from resilience to making it through difficult times, to leadership. You name it, I'll be talking about it. In fact, go to my website at eugenehamiltongroup.org, eugenehamiltongroup.org. Send me a form, send me a request. I'll get back with you and your team and let you know what options we have as we move forward, how I can help you and your team grow, move forward, motivate them, inspire them, and help them learn some things that will help them, even if they're facing burnout, if they're trying to rediscover their passion for the work that they're engaged in, if they're students who are moving from one grade level to another, and they need some strategies as to how to be successful moving from middle school to high school, I'll be willing and I'm open to helping you move forward, walking in my calling, walking in my gift. So I knew that I was a communicator. I realized and recognized that. And as I told you in episode 1, there was a time in my life where I thought I could only engage in communication or communicating with people in a public forum in a certain way. And man, the pandemic, although I wish it never happened, the pandemic opened up my eyes, opened up some doors, and here's that word again, it exposed me to other avenues and options that are available to continue walking in my purpose, to continue fulfilling my calling, to fulfill it, to continue to do something that I'm passionate about. So the first step to discovering your purpose and passion is to self-assess, do some deep reflection. The second step is to explore, to experiment, and to expose yourself to people. This is where I was, because I talked about the fact that I'm kind of closed off when I'm not on the microphone. And there's a reason behind that. I'll explain that. We'll talk about that. We'll unpack that later on and doing another show, another episode. But I had to get behind or beyond that to connect with people that will take me even higher with regard to my calling, to take me to another level with regard to where I am. Third thing, the last thing, if you're going to walk in your purpose, follow your passion, you got to set goals and take action. Turn up the volume. If you're listening on podcasts, if you're watching on YouTube, turn up the volume. You got to set goals and not just set goals. In this book, Atomic Habits, I'm trying to tell you, you need to get this book of the month for the Growth Squad. And just hold on a little bit longer. I'm going to tell you how you can get a free book. 2 people are going to get a free book this month from me, right? As a part of the Growth Squad, the Growth Squad family. But you got to set goals. But that's not enough. You know, when January 1 comes around, everybody's all pumped up, excited. They got goals. They've got goals. They've got goals. By the time you get to July 1, the question should be not who has set goals. You need to ask people who has taken action towards reaching those goals. I can set a goal. I want to lose 20 pounds. That's fine and dandy. That's to be commended. But what action have you taken toward reaching that goal? I can set a goal that I want to finish my degree. Cool. Vision board it all day long. You can write it in your notes on your phone all day long. You can call your friends and tell your friends, hey, I'm going back to college. But what steps have you taken towards the goal that you set for yourself? You see, it's frustrating sometimes, right? When you hear people all the time, they are experts at setting goals. They're experts at setting lofty expectations for themselves, but they fail at putting together a strategy. They fail at putting together steps that will aid them and help them reach said goal. So I'm not knocking, please set goals. Our book of the month is, listen, all it's talking about is setting goals and building habits and compounding habits to help you reach higher heights. But let me be the guy to bust your bubble. Setting goals is only a third of the battle. Yeah, it's not even half the battle. Setting goals is just a portion of the battle. You got to take action. And in taking action, you got to develop strategy and a map to help you get to where it is that you said you were going. So you think about your purpose in life, as you think about your passions that you are exploring, I want to encourage you not to stop there. I want to encourage you to set some reasonable, SMART, S-M-A-R-T, SMART goals, attainable goals, reachable goals, and put a plan of action in place with some real life strategies, techniques, and tools that will help you move forward. Check it out. I'm telling you, there's a book that will help you out. There's a link in the show notes. Go down out. It'll be tagged Book of the Month. The link is right there. The book is called Atomic Habits. And people that are serious about moving forward and developing these critical habits, I just had something come over me. I said 2 books. I'm giving away 3 books this month. 3 individuals will get this book, Atomic Habits, but you got to do 2 things for me. You got to like and subscribe. That's one thing, right? You got to like and subscribe. That's people. Oh, that's 2 things. No, that's one thing. Like and subscribe, and send me a DM on any one of my platforms, right? At Eugene J. Hamilton. Send me a DM and tell me why you deserve this book. Hit like, hit subscribe to the YouTube channel, right? Hit like and subscribe on the YouTube channel. Or if you're on podcast, like and subscribe there. And I want you to send me a message, or you can email me at eugenehamiltongroup@gmail.com. eugenehamiltongroup@gmail.com. I'll get right back with you and let you know. All right. So thank you again for tuning in today. I'm looking for 3 people to get that free book, our book of the month, Atomic Habits. Don't forget that every single day, as a part of our Grow Squad, we are intentional about going boldly, growing broadly, glowing brightly. That's my time. Take care. Have a beautiful week. Peace.